Okay, so we are live. Welcome to the USA Softball Facebook Live, where we're going to be talking about the HPP program. My name is Valerie Arioto. I am a current member of the Tokyo, now 2021 Olympics for Team USA. So I am really excited to have this conversation. I just started my own business called the Integrated Vault that kind of combines giving young players a roadmap to success and fulfillment. And I'm also a board member on the board of directors for USA Softball. So all of my worlds are kind of colliding here with this HPP program. And I'm so excited for, the youth of softball in general to see this pipeline and see their dreams of the Olympics as they compete and have a great time doing it. And softball has really changed my life, and to give other girls that same opportunity to see that dream of the Olympics and winning gold is really huge. And I'm so excited to roll this program out alongside USA Softball. So before I get started with all my questions, I'm going to introduce our amazing panel that we have. We have Mike Stith, head coach of the Orange County Batbusters. We also have Scott Smith, the head coach of the Texas Bombers. We have Donnie Dreher, head coach of the Michigan Finesse. We have Chris Sebrin, the USA Softball Director of National Teams. And we also have Chris Drum, Commissioner of USA Softball of Southern California. So you guys are getting the best of the best here with this panel, and I can't wait to pick your guys' brain on this program. So we'll start it off. We'll go to Chris Sebrin first. Chris, can you give us just an overview of this program? What is it? Why do we love it? I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Val, and thank you to the rest of the panel for being on today and being such a huge part of this program. HPP, High Performance Program, is what this program is. And it basically came out of, wanting to provide more athletes the opportunity to be identified and recognized by USA Softball. Starting first locally, in their local areas, earning that opportunity to be identified, participate in regional competition, and again, being identified regionally. And then once identified regionally, having the opportunity to be a part of a national team athlete pool that is primed for a potential invitation to a national team tryout. Again, the program was created through a national committee. It involved coaches of travel ball across the U.S. It involved USA Softball administrators across the U.S. and again, providing opportunities for those athletes to have a pipeline, to know the route of how they could be looked at and seen and earn that opportunity to eventually end up with a tryout for USA Softball. So Val, that's really what it's all about. It's providing opportunities to those young women across the U.S.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that makes it so clear, because I think that's one of the questions I get the most is, what is the process? What did you go through to get to the Olympic team? And I think this clears it up, and it gives an exact route of done. Where can we expect to see this high program, and how will it roll out into local associations?
Yeah, so right now we've got 60 areas that have been identified across the U.S. As hosting identifiers, and not all of them are hosting identifiers just yet. COVID is getting in the way of our lives, but obviously we want kids to have an ease of travel when being identified. In previous years, we would have say an open tryout for a U18 team, a U19 team, and it was only those kids that maybe could afford to travel and fly across the U.S. and stay in a hotel a couple of nights for that opportunity. But now we're giving those kids an opportunity to stay local, be identified, and then once identified locally, they work their way up. But on our website, hpp.usasoftball.com, we've got local identifiers that are there. We've got our program guide that kind of lays out everything. And we actually have our own field guide, which will show those athletes what they're going to compete in when they go to an identifier. So they know what they can work on before they get there, master those tools, and then go and compete.
Awesome. Yeah, this is amazing. Thanks, Chris. Donnie, we'll head to you next. What are your thoughts on this program, and how do you think it will positively impact softball in your area?
Yeah. First, I'd just like to say I'm, honored to be part of the program and be part of the Midwest team. The USA High Performance Program in the Midwest, I think, is going to do a couple things. It's going to create excitement and it's going to create awareness. Excitement because every softball player, that's born in 2008 or earlier has an opportunity to put on a USA jersey, no matter what their skill level is, and for less than $100 try out for Team USA. We just think that's really cool, and the excitement is the beginning part of what we're trying to create in the Midwest. The awareness is for our high level player in the Midwest, most of them have no idea how to go about making the USA national team. This program is going to give them the opportunity through identifiers, through invited tryouts, to be evaluated using a universal rating system through Team Genius, and they're going to be able to compare their results and their performance with their peers in the Midwest and across the country. It's going to serve as a pipeline to the national team, and this pipeline is starting as early as 13U. I know some of our kids don't think you try out for the national team until you're trying out for the 15, 17, or 18U team. But we want to get them in the pipeline, and I think it's great that this program is starting to identify them at the 13U level. It's going to help us in the Midwest to identify the next Amanda Chittister and provide her a roadmap to making the national team. And yeah, I think for the first time, the Midwest kid can now be competing and evaluating on the same playing field as kids across the country. And I just think that's really exciting. And again, I'm just really honored to be part of the program.
Yeah, thanks, Donnie. That's exactly right. And the development program all the way up to, the women's national team, I think that's so huge to start that early, like you were saying. That's really cool. Thanks. So Chris Drum, we'll go to you next. Can you share your goals and ideas on how you guys in California are going to benefit from this? Uh-oh.
Mute would be good.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as California, we're excited for this program, especially in Southern California. Really, we're the governing body of softball, and we want to be involved and partner with recreational leagues, travel ball programs that play softball. We know that we are the pipeline to the national team. We see all these young kids at age 6, 8, and 10 that look up to you and the rest of the national team and Olympic team stars. So to have those dreams and see where they start and allow those kids to partner in this program and know that they have different avenues with it. So we're excited to partner with CFL, Alliance, the travel ball programs in Southern California, and of course, California, to continue growing the sport. We know that we have a massive amount of talent in California, and we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities to all kids. There's these, everybody probably started out in a recreational program, and then they may have grown into a travel ball program. So understanding all those avenues and making sure that those players and those athletes have the accessibility to grow their skills at an individual rate and have opportunities to maybe play at a local association team, a regional HPP team, and or a national team and represent the USA is pretty amazing. So to hear the interest right now that we're getting in Southern California and in California has been very positive. And again, we know that we have the best and individuals, teachers, events, and we want to make sure that those kids get the best possible opportunity to play softball, the sport that they love. So thank you, Valerie.
Yeah, awesome answer. Like some of my favorite memories are from my rec ball days in my local league, and just to see that progression of going through that process. And this really defines what that looks like now. So exactly right. I think it's going to give a lot of kids opportunity and a clear vision to that, goal and what they're doing. So I appreciate that. Mike, we will go to you next. Some coaches may see this as kind of, competing with something existing with their team or organization. How do you plan to support your athletes who may become a part of this program in the future?
Well, thanks, Val. This is probably the main reason that I felt it important to get involved with this, is to reconnect Team USA to all of the club coaches, all of the men and women that grind, as you might say, with all these young athletes from the time they're 10 all the way up until they're 18, and to reconnect them with the ability to compete for a spot on Team USA and get into the national program. There are a lot of great coaches, great teachers that are out there working with these great athletes, and there has been a disconnect over the last several years, and I'm excited to get back involved with helping get these players the recognition, and the coaches as well, the recognition they deserve to get back involved with the program. And, it's obviously about making Team USA the deepest and the strongest softball program in the world. And I feel from the level that we're at, the grassroots level, the people that are pounding ground balls on the dirt all day long and doing the things that we do are very well connected and in touch with these athletes. And I think this is where it all starts. Like everybody said, it starts with a T-ball team, and it ends up getting through travel, through the rec process, through travel, and on into the collegiate process. But I'm just excited to be a main part of connecting all those pieces to develop Team USA.
Absolutely. I think your perspective is so huge. Like you were saying, you're the guy on the ground and communicating with athletes, being able to support them, not only for your team's benefit, but for their future, and with USA Softball or whatever they do to move on. And I think that's a big piece of it, is having girls understand that there is an opportunity for them to play, after college, or, with USA, or continuing that. So it's not just you guys develop them into amazing softball players, and then there's nothing else after college. So creating that development and pipeline, and on and off the field, making them as best as possible, I think is huge for this program. So thanks for all you guys do. Scott, we will head over to you. We know that a lot of coaches are involved with their team. They get busy and there's a lot going on. Why is this program important to make sure that every athlete has a chance to get evaluated, and then eventually maybe have the opportunity to get a USA national team invite as well?
Yeah, no, thanks. I appreciate being on here with everybody today, and I'm absolutely honored to be part of the program. Really, to piggyback what Mike and what Chris said, I think the biggest opportunity that comes from this HPP program is that there's a lot of kids that maybe have felt excluded from the process in the past. And I don't think it was intentionally they were excluded. They just didn't know how to get there. And I think the amount of care and insight that Chris and his team at USA Softball has put into integrating this back down to the grassroots level and creating a consistent roadmap for every player in the Midwest, with Donnie and those guys, and every player out west in California and Texas and across the country are going to go through the exact same process, and they have the exact same opportunities that now provide them the same chance that you have to wear USA across your chest. And I think that one of my fondest memories when I first started getting into softball a long time ago was when I saw Kat and Jenny and Crystal and those guys on their tour come through Texas, and I was just blown away at the little kids that you could tell wanted to be them. They wanted to be part of that process. And so I keep thinking about that as we kind of venture into this, and thinking about all of the really good softball players that might have gotten missed in the past. And I feel like that USA Softball's trying to put a program in place that would help prevent that. And so the young kid that's out in the middle of nowhere, USA, has the exact same chance as the greatest athlete in Southern California. And I think that's a really cool thing. And so to piggyback again with what Mike said, there's so many really good coaches at the grassroots level that are helping start this process. And I know they're excited to be integrated into this process as well. So it's an honor, and I think it's one of the really cool things that's happening in our sport today.
Absolutely. I have a follow-up question for you because I'm interested in this as well. As the HPP program can not only help in identifying athletes and show them a pipeline, be what the steps are to get to Team USA as well as the team or the national team, whatever year it may be. But how do you see development of players kind of go forward in the future as this program develops? I know it's a big deal that the pipeline is consistent, and so when teams are created, there has to be cohesion and chemistry and all of that. What's your thoughts on how this will maybe affect that in the future?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question because one of the things we're doing right now down here in Texas is gauging the interest of coaches, travel ball coaches around the state that want to be interested in being part of the coaching pools for these teams, and it's really Val, it's cool to see the broad overview of coaches from all these different programs. And I'm trying to imagine us all sharing ideas and information that's going to help develop the players. And anytime I think you stack that much information across, such a wide variety of levels of coaches, you can't help but think that the player is going to be the benefactor of all that. And so I think it's going to be neat. I use the term all the time, building a helicopter in flight. I think that a lot of this is going to be going as we go. And I think it's going to be really neat to see the player development side of this high performance program. Because I think that's one of and Chris and I have talked about this a handful of times is trying to create a pool of players nationwide that ultimately create the best U.S. national teams that this country can put on the field. And I think anytime you're developing players and you're doing it across a broad spectrum like that, and you're involving so many other layers of coaches across the country, man, I feel sorry for the rest of the world having to try to play catch up to us with this, because we're really investing in our athletes, and I'm excited about it. And hopefully I think it broadens the sport internationally. They see that the United States is committed to creating this high performance program for athletes. Hopefully it'll carry itself across everywhere else.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on of this is just getting all of us in the US on the same page. And now we can work together in our efforts, because there's so many people across the US that are so passionate about the sport of softball and bettering it in sport. And now we're just, putting all of our efforts together to make that push in a more effective way. And like you said, we're going to be unstoppable and still are, but continue that for the next generation so we don't miss a beat going forward, since we are kind of in and out of the Olympics, and hopefully solidify that spot with this development of the program, as well as getting it nationally as well, like you said. So thank you. Chris, I have another question. Chris Sebrin. I have another question for you from the fans on the live. What can you tell those that don't see the HPP identifier in their areas just yet?
I just say be patient. I think, we have a contact list in the different areas that are part of the website. I would reach out to your local contacts and just ask the question, say, hey, when? Again, these things are kind of rolling out across the U.S. based on COVID and things like that. So just be patient. There's no rush to name a roster for our national team in the next couple of months. This is going to be a program that's going to be around for years to come. But I would just say be patient. It's going to eventually get out there. And again, we actually have a national office email as well if you're concerned with getting in touch with somebody, hpp@usasoftball.com. Shoot us an email. We'll get back with you. We're talking to our local folks daily. We're having routine phone calls and things like that. So just be patient. But Val, if I can touch on what both Mike and Donnie and Scott have said, I think it's important to know that if there's coaches out there today that are listening and they're curious, that local contact list is for them as well. Reach out to those local contacts and say, hey, I'm interested in getting involved. Because without the travel ball coaches, the rec coaches, the program won't be successful. And we need them to be involved. They are such an integral part of the youth of today and tomorrow. when we started talking about this program back whenever COVID hit and we were shut down in March and April, some of the first calls I made were to travel ball coaches, because without their support and them knowing that, look, we do need to work together, so that we're not, scheduling your athletes on top of big events and things like that. We want to work together. We want to collaborate. We want to make sure that, we're not in the way of what they're doing. This is meant to enhance the programs for the athletes and the programs for the coaches out there. So not take away from that at all. So I just wanted to add that real quick when we were talking about coaches.
Yeah, Chris, one more question for you. Someone is registered in one state, but lives in another state. What identifiers should they participate in?
Yeah, ideally, unless there's some extenuating circumstances, we want them to be recognized locally and be there and be evaluated locally. So I would just say, look, just, again, I know everybody wants to probably go to something soon, but just if you could hold out and wait for your local area to start their identifiers, do that. If there are situations that we need to consider, obviously reach out to your local contact and they'll communicate with us. But ideally, we want them to be identified locally and represent that local area when they compete regionally.
Thank you. I want to open it up to anyone on the panel if you have anything to add, closing remarks, anything else that we've missed today that people could benefit from.
Hey, Valerie, can I go ahead and add? I know they've talked about the coaches and stuff, and we've been fortunate to have some calls in the Western area. And the great thing about coaches coming together with this program is their problem solving. There has been a lot of positive interest in that, which Scott, Donnie, and Mike have already said. But getting, a group of coaches on a call, travel ball coaches, all looking at something a little different, but understanding what the end goal is on this particular program. And anytime a concern came up, there's always problem solving. So there's been so much positive commitment and moving forward and not putting up barriers on this that has been so awesome to be a part of, because the group that is working together, they all compete against each other, but on this, everybody is a united front, and it has been a tremendous honor working with the talent, the experience, the competitiveness, and the drive of this, not only committee, but the coaches committed to seeing this program be very successful, because in the end, it is going to help Team USA, and it's going to help all the softball athletes out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Chris Sebren, one more thing before we kind of wrap up. If people have more questions or they want to find more information on this, where should they go? I know we did a great job of answering most of their questions, but any other details, where should they go?
Yeah, again, hpp.usasoftball.com has our complete program guide, on field, what an identifier is going to be. It has our contact information. It has frequently asked questions. So that's where I'd send everybody. They can obviously send something to hpp@usasoftball.com. Couple of points, Val. This is all open to any softball player in the U.S. Okay, we're obviously, we've got members and non-members that are going to be participating in this program. This doesn't matter what team you're on, actually what level you're at. You can compete. You can go out there and see where you stack up against everybody else. That's the good thing, and it's open to anybody who plays softball. The other thing is the age groups are a little different, because we are looking at international age groups for these kids. So I think that's important, and that's on the website as well. An 18U player is going to be born in 2003 for this program. So, that's the latest age that somebody can participate right now. And then I think Chris mentioned earlier 2008 for the youngest athlete. So there's that as well. As it's important to know that, you might be a high school senior, may not be able to participate because you age out of our U18 program. for international play. And we're talking about that. You know, what does that look like? Because you haven't started college yet and things like that. So, but those are a couple things that I wanted to touch on as well.
Awesome, thank you. I also wanted to give like an athlete's perspective too. We were talking about how COVID's kind of delayed things, so just be patient for your identifiers to come out. Even for us on the national team, our stuff has been delayed, but the best advice I can give is continue to work on your own. So when you do hit the field or you do have an identifier pop up, that you're ready to go right away. And it is such a hard time right now, but do what you can on your own and you know, reach out to your teammates for support. But I wanted to thank all the panel members for all the great information, but also all of your time and energy that you put into not only this, but to the future of softball, as well as the athletes themselves who are making such a big difference. And I can't wait to see this all unfold. And I'm excited to be a part of it in any way I can and help in any way I can. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Val. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.